Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Rah, 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 Rah. Ra is a game published by 25th Century Games, at least this version, designed by the great Dr. Reiner Knizia. Plays 2 to 5 players in, let's see if the time's on the box, 30 to 60 minutes. All of that is probably accurate. And effectively what you're trying to do in this is, I don't even know what the theme is, you're trying to invoke the powers of Ra to make the best civilization. I don't know if that's in the book, but that's kind of what you're doing. And what that means is you are trying to collect different sets of tiles to score a bunch of different points through auctions using these cool sun tokens here, which I think are pretty slick. So that's the gist. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go down to the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of Ra, all set up for 2 players. Setup is pretty easy. You're going to grab the appropriate board for the number of players. The player count will be right here in that little arrow. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a 2. And then you're going to give them each of the appropriate numbers above that 2. So I've done that. Each player will get 10 points face down. You'll put the 1 out here on the main board. Put the big Ra token somewhere off to the side. Put the sun boat on the appropriate player count. So in this case, I put it on 2. And then sort out the rest of the money. And then you're ready to go. Also have a big bag of tiles, which we have here. So in this game, what we're trying to do is we're trying to collect different sets of tiles. And we're going to be doing that by auctions. Trying to have the most tiles at the end of, the most points at the end of 3 rounds. And then you win. So I'll talk about more about the tiles when they come out. Let's go ahead and get started. So the highest number goes first. In this case, that's this player. So they'll draw a monument. That's their turn. Now it's the other player's turn. They have a pharaoh. I'm going to go ahead and mark the turns with this just so I know whose turn it is. We have a flood. Now it's this player's turn. This is normally only used for auctions, but I'm using it so I know who's drawing as well. We have a pharaoh. Back to this player. They're going to draw. Have a pharaoh. And now this player is going to do an auction. All right. So now the way an auction works is the player to the left of the player who started the auction is going to start bidding. And then if you invoke the auction, if everybody else passes, you have to bid. If someone else passes or someone else bids, you may pass, but it only goes around 1 time. So this person will bid, that person will have the final choice, then we'll go. So I kind of really want that, but I'm going to just go 6. And they're going to go 7. All right. So their 7 beats me. The 7 comes up here. They get the 1 to use next round. 7 comes here, and they get all these tiles. So they have 3 of these. I'm just going to stack them because I don't want to take up a ton of room. They have a flood. And they have a monument. Now, at the end of this round, I'll tell you how everything scores, and then you should be good to go. All right, so that was their turn because they invoked Ra. When I'm laying it down, that's who's drawing. So we have a god tile. Back to this player. They have a pharaoh tile. Back to this player. I need to use 2 hands because I'm just drawing off the top, and that might not be great. Another pharaoh. Man, the pharaohs are front loaded here. All right, so they drew a Ra. So when a Ra tile comes out, which is this red one, it's removed from the game, advances the boat 1 step closer towards ending the round, and then an auction starts. So this player starts an auction. Now, unlike when they choose to do the auction, everyone can pass here. So that is a choice. But this player is actually, they kind of want this. They're going to bid 6, and they're going to pass because they don't want to use their 8 quite yet. But now they have the 7 for the next round, which is good. They have 2 pharaoh tiles, which is closer to tying them. And the best part is they now have a god tile, which will be worth 2 points at the end of the game, or they can discard it to take a different tile from the row on their turn, which is pretty cool. All right, back to this player. Pharaoh. Man, more pharaohs. What's going on? Monument. All right, back to this player. Civilization. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the civilization. Well, I'll talk about the pharaohs first. Pharaohs, whoever has the most at the end of the round gets 5 points. Whoever has the least gets 2. If everybody has the same amount, nobody gets anything. All right. The civilizations, you need to at least have 1 to not lose 5 points. And if you can get 3 to 5 different ones, which are the icons in those banners, you're going to score 5 to 10 points. All right. And everything on your left, you keep for the whole game. Everything on the right will get discarded at the end of the game. Or in each round, sorry. All right, and then we got a flood. That was them. That's back to me. Raw tile. All right, so they're starting a raw auction. Advances the boat. You know, I'm going to actually bid my 9. So they can't beat me, so I'm going to win this auction. I want this flood tile. Flood tiles are worth a point. I didn't explain that over there. But they will also make all your Nile tiles worth a point per flood tile that you have. But now I'm not losing 5 points here because I have a civilization, have a monument. You want to get complete sets of 3 or 5 of each of the numbers, which are there. And you want to get all the different numbers because they're worth a pile of points too. And those score at the end of the game. Everything else scores each round. So now it's back to me. I get to pull a tile. We have a monument. Back to this player. God tile. Back to me. Nile tile. Back to them. They're going to keep going. Keep drawing. Nile tile. Back to me. I'm going to start an auction. And they're going to bid 8. So I can't beat them because I don't have higher than an 8. But they now get my 9, which stinks. All right, so they're going to take all of these. So now they have 2 Nile tiles, which are worth 2 points total because 1 for each of those. They have a God tile and another monument, which is good. All right, then back to this player. They're going to draw. Back to me. Ooh, more monuments. Back to this player. More monuments. Back to me. Nile tile. They're going to do an auction. And I'm going to go ahead and bid 5 because I wrote, I don't want, I want that. I'll bid 5. So I get the 8. And now I can only win 1 more auction the rest of this round. But I now have a Nile tile, so that's a point. Plus that point, which is nice. And now I have 5 different monument tiles, which are 4 different monument tiles, which is 4 points. Now I can start working on some sets, which is cool. All right, then back to me. Civilization, back to that player. Another civilization. Ooh, that would give me 3. But I have a 2. No. Money is straight up 3 points at the end of the round. We have a raw. So that's me. All right, so they're going to bid 4, and I can't beat that. So they will take the 5. They get the money, which is worth 3 points, and 2 civs. I really needed those 2 because that would have put me over the threshold. Back to that player. Civ, back to me. Civ, back to this player. Pharaoh, back to me. I'm doing an auction. They're actually going to pass because they don't want that. So I'm going to knock myself out for that. But that gives me a set of 3, which is 5 points. And now I have the most pharaohs. All right, so I'm out. So this player gets to keep going until Ra either hits the end of the track and that ends the round, or they win another auction. All right, so let's see what happens. It's over in their world. So they have that and that. Ooh, they could do that. That wouldn't be bad. They're going to keep going. There's no reason to stop. Nope. Now it's getting closer to stopping. They're going to pass. They don't want to do the auction on that. Monument. Ra. Oh, okay. So now they're going to go ahead and bid. They'll bid their 3. Take the 2. and they get all these tiles. All right, so that is the end of the round. So what happens is this flips over to the yellow. Now we know we're going to be scoring yellow here. All right, so now we're going to score everything but purple. So whoever has the most pharaohs, we all have 4, so nobody gets any points. Then you're going to score your Nile tiles times your flood tile. So in this case, I have 1 times 1. I get 1 point. They have 2 times 1. They get 2 points. Then you'll score your flood tiles, 1 point each. So that's a 1. That's a 1. And they all go away. Because remember, nothing stays on the right side after each round. We each have 3 different ones here. So we each get 5. So 5 and 5. All these can go away. Neither one of us used our God tile, so we each get 2 points for that. But they get another 3, so they'll get 5, and I'll get 2. All right. Then we send this back to round 2. Flip all of our tokens over. Whoever has the 9 will be first, and we'll do that 2 more rounds. The only difference between what we did there and the end of the game is, at the end of the game, you will score your purples. You'll score for sets of 3, 4, 5 of the same, and 1 through 8 of the different ones based on the chart here. And you will see who has the highest total here in these numbers. So I have 13, 21, 25 to there 10, 17. Whoever has the highest gets 5. Whoever has the lowest loses 5. And then after all that is said and done, the game is over. Whoever has the most points is the winner. That's how you play Ra. Let's go to the top. See what you think about it. All right, well, that was Ra. So let's talk about the components. I have the retail edition. It was sent to me by 25th Century, so full disclosure there. And so let's look at the components. Now, all this stuff you see right here, these nice wooden sundials, which are fantastic. All the different numbers, the sun tokens, fantastic. This wooden sun boat, fantastic. This obscenely big Ra statue, look how thick that is. Amazingly cool. These awesome player boards that are dual-sided based on the player count. Not all of them are, but some of them are double-sided. This bag. Now, this is where some of the differences. Everything I showed you so far is in both editions. Now, this bag, this is the retail edition bag. It's smaller. It doesn't automatically stand up on the table, but it will because it has a butt ton of tiles in it. But it has fantastic art. The tiles, while we're talking to tiles, these are cardboard tiles in the fancy deluxe edition or Pharaoh edition. They're wooden, but these are still great looking. Look at that. Awesome art. Super thick. Cool back. Matches the bag, which I think is cool. Pretty cool iconography. It's Eno tool, so that should be no surprise. Function over form in regards to what he does, even though his stuff looks really nice. So really nice quality tiles. The deluxe edition has metal money, but I think this money is fantastic as well, or points. It's got a cool green background for 1s, a pink background for 2. You saw the 5, which is yellow. The 10 is blue. All that's fantastic. They're not colored in the back of the fancy edition, but they are metal. So if that's your jam, have at it. I'm just telling you what I have and what I know is different. Now let's talk about gameplay. This is from the late 90s, this game. I'm pretty sure. And man, it's good. So this is one I've been wanting to play. I'm a huge Knizia fan. I've been trying to play as many of his games as I can. I'm late to the party because he's been around forever, and I didn't get into gaming when he started doing all of his great games. So I'm trying to catch up. And this is a fantastic set collection auction game that I've played a ton of times. It's great every time. Scores can range from having 22 to having 70. It's fun at every player count. You never know what you're going to get out of that bag. You never know what's going to come up. You never know what's going to happen, what people are fighting you for, how the tiles are going to come out, the bad tiles that I didn't show you. Let me see if I can find some. They're never around when you need them. There are some bad tiles that will be red, and they'll have some X's. They're going to affect some of the tiles on your board. So if you win an auction and these are on there, they're going to make you discard some tiles, and that is painful. It's so painful. But this game is so good. My only complaint maybe is in the first round, when you put all these tiles in this bag, it's hard to shuffle them around. So you're going to, if you don't do a good shuffle beforehand, like dump them all in the box, shuffle them around, and pour them in the bag, you may have a bunch of a single tile, kind of like I did in this, on top that you're rooting around through and kind of skews maybe how the game works. But again, it's all random, so it doesn't really matter. But having this bag that full, there's 180 tiles I think in here. So having it that full in the first round is kind of a hindrance on getting stuff shuffled. That's my only complaint. Well, I guess I have another complaint. And because of that, some of the tiles are starting to show some wear, and we've only played this maybe, I don't know, 6 times. I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, so I probably won't show it, but the edges of this tile already is like chipped up. It's showing white. So I don't know how long these are going to last, like quacks. Same kind of deal where you're putting a bunch of stuff in a bag, shuffling it around, and it's cardboard, banging against itself, and, you know, kind of messing up. But that being said, even if the tiles do get messed up a little bit, they're still nice quality. So the only issue would be that the artwork might get a little jacked, and I'm okay with that because it's still, I can still play the game. I know what the tiles are. So, but just keep that in mind. That may happen if you get this edition. I don't know about the wooden one if that will happen, so I can't tell you that. But the bag being a little too small, even though it feels too big because the box is too small. So the box is small too. That's kind of another negative. It's hard to put everything back in there, especially with this big A bag in there. But again, you can fit it. It just doesn't always close all the way unless you get creative. So those are my cons of this game. Everything else, I love everything about it. It's fantastic. No complaints on the gameplay. No complaints on any of it. The amount of tile, the different types of tiles is all crazy, so you never know what you're going to get. Some of the tiles are really hard to get because there's less of them. Sometimes they may be the first ones out, and then you're done for the rest of the game, which makes it a little challenging. I love all of it. Fantastic game. No more beating around the bush. BGM accepted. 9 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 4.5 out of 5 wrenches on our arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that's what we're going to do. So that is rah from 25th Century Games. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.